Three, two, one, one, two, three, three, two, one.
Hey, what's up, guys? Well, welcome to the 3P podcast. We are back for episode 2. I am Nat, and please welcome in my co-hosts, AJ and Mike. What's up, guys?
What's up, everybody? Glad to be here.
That's what's up. That's what's up. All right, guys. So don't forget to visit our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy, and sign up and use the promo code 3P, and we will double your deposit up to $100. All right. So make sure you do that. Subscribe to us. Follow us on social media. Me, I am at Reese Rebel 31 on Twitter. AJ, what's your at?
I at Arthur Johnson.
All right, Mike, you got social? You want people to follow you at?
Everything is on Original BXB. It's on Instagram and Facebook and whatever else you type on these days. How's everybody doing today?
All right, perfect. All right, so let's get ready for the week on repeat. All right. So let's get into it. Yesterday we had a few good games. I'm going to call out some of the important ones, guys that are in the hunt for the playoffs, and everything, and, MVP races and everything like that. We had Boston at Houston. Boston loses 109 to 111. We had Phoenix versus Golden State. 112 to 123, Golden State winning that one. And then we had Milwaukee versus Sacramento. Let's talk a little bit about Milwaukee versus Sacramento. This was a good game because due to the fact Sacramento, kind of like a Cinderella story, guys, they go from not being in the playoffs for years, and now you're talking about a top 3 seed in the West. They have been playing some really good basketball. And then you got Milwaukee coming in at number 1 in the East. Giannis, 46, 12, and 4. That's big time right there. There was nothing Sacramento could do with that. They had a great effort. You had De'Aaron Fox with 35, 8, and 3, Sabonis 23, 17, and 15, triple double. He's having a hell of a season, which I think the biggest reason why they're doing so well is because of him. And then, you had Kevin Huerter with 28, 1, and 3. I don't know, Mike, talk about Sacramento. We know what Milwaukee is and who they are and who they've been, but talk a little bit about Sacramento and how you feel about them this year.
I'm really excited about Sacramento. I low-key like the Kings growing up when they had the rivalry with the Lakers back in the 90s.
Right.
And to see them, this version of the Kings is really exciting to watch. Just the balance they have with some veterans and all these young players that they're getting to play hard together. And Fox is having one heck of a season. Monk is a good addition to that team. And then you have veterans like Harrison Barnes doing the dirty work on that squad. And they just seem to be playing with a lot of energy. Sabonis is balling out. I just love the energy that they play with and how young they are. Yeah, they're doing. I don't think a lot of people expected them to be this good this late in the season, but they're proving a lot of people wrong so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. AJ, what you think of Sacramento?
I'm surprised. If I'm being honest, from previous years, they just haven't been very good. And I think you could blame it on the coaching, which I think is another point why they're doing so good. They have Mike Brown now coaching, and I think he's bringing just some veteran leadership as a coach who's been to championships and stuff. So he's helping them get that championship mentality. And De'Aaron Fox has been a stud for a minute. So like he's a bad boy. But I think now they're unleashing him. Like they're basically saying, here's the keys, you know, this is
Right.
your thing, you know. So
Right.
if you're a Kings fan, you got to be excited because it's been years since they've even been relevant.
I agree. I mean, I I kind of think that the reason why they're so successful, I really do think it has a lot to do with Sabonis. I just think that he changes everything that they do. I think he's been underrated for a while, and I'm one of those people that when he's in Indiana, I'm looking at him and I'm like, man, I don't think people realize how good this guy is. I'm like, I wish I could get him in Boston, 'cause I'm like, this guy makes things happen. And then he goes there and it's like he puts up really good numbers. 15 assists for a big is amazing, 17 boards, and then obviously the 23 rebounds. He's doing everything, So I like the mix of guys that they have. They have some veteran pieces and they got young pieces. They got just enough of everything, and then you gotta give it up to the coaching as well. They got some stability. Stability is, I think, is the word for Sacramento, where they are no longer the low-hanging fruit. You have to respect them, and that's what I'm loving right now. Milwaukee. Milwaukee, let's talk about like Milwaukee and then the East and how you guys like them going into the playoffs, So, we're mid-March, playoffs are going to be starting very soon. What do you think of Milwaukee and how they're playing right now? And let's go to AJ.
Milwaukee. If you look at the numbers, I think it's safe to say they're back because Giannis is going to give you, like he gave you 46 last night, but Middleton, who's been dealing with some injuries, chipped in with 31, and then you got Lopez too. A lot of people talk a lot of noise about Lopez, but for a big, he can hit the three, and I believe he's leading the league in blocks. So, and then I haven't even mentioned Drew Holiday yet. So, they're going to be a problem, and I actually think they're going to come out of the East. I'm sorry for your Celtics.
We are gonna get there. We are gonna get there. Yeah, Mike, what about you? What are you thinking about these Milwaukee Bucks right now? How you like them?
So we still in this. I'm an old head, so I like the '90s ball. This 3-point shooting contest everywhere that you see in each game isn't really my style of basketball, but them boys in Milwaukee, man, they got some dogs. They got some chippy guys that when it comes to the playoffs, they already showed it. I mean, the resume's there. They know how to do it in the playoffs. And Giannis, with a head full of steam going down court since LeBron, he's like, ain't nobody stopping him when he's going towards the hole. So it's like it's a
right.
It's going to be really strategic as far as how teams play Giannis in the playoffs. But I mean, y'all said it all. I mean, aside from having the shooters and Lopez and Holiday and Milton, but they got some dogs. They still got Grayson Allen, and they got just these chippy attitude. You saw Lopez's attitude last night at the end of that game. So
yeah,
I mean, they're gonna protect their boy. I don't want to face him. I don't want to face. I don't want to face Milwaukee.
No, that's real. Mike, I gotta say, we got a comment from someone. LeBron's mama said, "Is that Matt Barnes? He looks old."
That was gonna be the
Woo!
thing y'all were gonna try. Yeah.
Don't play my guy like that. What's going on?
It's 02, man. I've been hearing that stuff, man.
You've been hearing it for years.
Yeah. I don't think he likes it too much though at this point. I mean, I wouldn't if I was him.
Oh man.
You messed up for that, LeBron's mom.
They are. They're killing us with these comments. Listen, what back to what you guys were saying, they are hitting their stride at the right time, you know. Um, yes, 46 from Giannis, but then you got to go and look at the rest of the scoreboard, and then you got to look at Middleton with 31 and 9 assists. That's huge for your number two. You
Yeah.
know, usually you would just want Giannis to get 30 something points, Middleton to get 20 something, and then people chip in who's going to be the next guy, Drew Holiday, and then Lopez hold it down. But 46 and 12, but then Middleton 31 and 9, but then Lopez had 23, 8 and 4. So that's a well balanced team. And I'm loving it. I think the one thing I'm looking at is the bench.
Mm.
You got it like 5 points for Carter. You got 4 for Crowder. Pat Connaughton, excuse me, 2 points, and Portis has 3 points. So you're looking at that, and it's like, are you gonna shoot and score and go into the 130s every night? So it's like I'm looking at that, and it's like that's what I'm watching for, because one thing Milwaukee will do is they will let you shoot threes. They are not really going to defend the three, wholeheartedly. They're gonna half-ass it, but then they'll give you an opportunity to make it, because they do not want you to get those second chance points. They want to get the ball, and they want Giannis to go. So that's what I'm looking at.
I
Go
I
ahead, AJ.
think with their bench, I actually think they're pretty loaded for the bench. With bench players and role players, you just need them to play when they need to show up when they need to show up. And last night they weren't needed. So, but I don't know if you remember, two guys, like they added Jay Crowder. So that's another tough defensive minded player. Portis, who has grown on me. I didn't think Portis was worth anything, but he's a player. He plays big for them. And then I also like Grayson Allen too. So I mean, if they're getting it right now, I'm excited to see, like, and matchups are everything, but I'm
Yeah, absolutely. Matches
excited to see
everything.
them put it together.
100%. We had another comment. We got a question. What do we think about the Heat and their chances in the East? Mike, go ahead. I see the face. Go ahead.
All right. So the Heat, they're a good team. I mean, they should be better than what the record shows. I'd say that. I mean, they do have a decent squad, and if anybody, I'm not worried about them in the first round. I'm not worried about them if I'm facing them in the play-in. Only because they're playing so inconsistent. I mean, they will be playing well against good teams, and then they'll fall to, say, the Magic on last week. So I don't see them having any threat to like win the East this year or anything like that. I mean, I think that the East is way too strong at the top with Boston, Philly, and Milwaukee. I love Jimmy Butler as a player. I think that he is a phenomenal talent, and he's a strong player that resembles the kind of basketball that I like to watch. But I think that they're still a little young in the shooting areas, and Spoelstra. I've never liked Spoelstra as a coach. I've never really thought that he was in particularly a great play caller, or I think he knew how to coach a defense. But I think that the talent that he had, and Pat Riley's ability to lure talent into Miami to have those shooters, gave Spoelstra an offense. And without that, you're seeing the inconsistency, and you're seeing the mediocre play that you say. They're still going to probably make the playoffs, but I don't think anybody's really worried about meeting Miami in the first round or in the playoffs.
Yeah, well said, Mike. AJ, what's up? What you think of the Heat in the East?
Well, I can't say I'm the biggest fan of Spoelstra either, but I'm losing it for me, Pat Riley. Like, I just feel like he hasn't done anything to make this team better. It looks like they're getting healthy now. I think Kyle Lowry's back. Jimmy Butler's playing a little bit more now. Tyler Hero looks like he's finding his swag again. So they're gonna be a tough out, but I'm like, Mike, I'm not worried about them. But then like on the other chance, like they could play, they could knock somebody out that's a higher seed too. I think they could if matched up correctly. So
I think their shooting is the liability with Miami. I think their shooting, they are chucking up threes at an average rate, but they're not hitting as many as they should be for the type of team they're built,
I agree.
Yeah, I agree too. When it comes to Miami, I think that we have to let go what was. And it's just not what is. It's like Jimmy Butler at this point and at this stage cannot be your go-to, your number one on a team, and Bam is not a number one. And we kind of have to talk about how great is he at a number two, because of the inconsistency scoring, or impacting the game, sometimes, I think he's a great defender, but in order to be that one or two, you got to have the package, and I struggle with that with Bam. You want him to be something that he's not, and that is hurting them, because you're relying on these two guys. Neither of them are number one, and then you got to look at the point guard. Who's the point guard? Gabe Vincent. If I see Gabe Vincent on my sheet, in a series, I'm like, who's this? And it's not to downplay him as a player. I think that he plays hard, and I'm so happy he has this opportunity in this league to play. I think that anybody would love to have him on a team, because he plays hard and he plays the right way. But we know what this means. There are point guards that make things happen that are special. And then there are guys that come in, they're role players, and he's a great role player for what you need him to do. But how are you going to, you can't rely on him. And it's not actually unfair, to rely on him, So I think that Miami has missed their time. I think that they should have thought about it in previous years about, hey, what can I do to make this team better? Who do I package up? Before people realize that, Duncan Robinson might not be all he's cracked up to be. Before you realize it, let me get him out of here. Now you're stuck. So Tyler Hero, he's good. But it's like, okay. It's like he shoots well, doesn't defend great. And his playmaking is, leaves a lot of things to be seen. So they have so many holes in that team where it's like, what are you going to do? It's like, you're not going to beat anybody, and it's like, you're going to play hard though. You might win a couple games, but come on, so that's what I think of the Miami Heat. And I hope that Pat Riley either passes it on, to give it to somebody, or
it's time, Pat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think that Pat Riley is synonymous in Miami for being good with, bringing up free agents and whatnot, but it really wasn't it just Shaq and LeBron that did it though in those last two dynasties? Weren't those two the real
that really
reason why? And you don't get that kind of generational talent every generation. So the problem is that, without that, I mean, I think Miami can land one, but Jimmy Butler is not that generational talent to build around.
Not now. No, I agree. I think he just, and I feel like after their bubble finals appearance, that was when they didn't add anything that following year. And it's just like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I mean, they were right there, and Jimmy was hurt. So, you guys know I'm a Laker fan. So Jimmy was hurt and still was balling, but it just wasn't enough. So that tells me right there that they needed some more pieces. But I just feel like they've been just getting like Band-Aids, just like they're gonna have to make a decision, I think, if they're gonna blow it up or, what they're gonna do. But something needs to be different.
All right, enough about the Heat. They can't get all this time, guys. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Brian with the injury report for tonight. up,
How are
Brian?
you?
What's going on,
All
Brian?
right.
How we doing? I know I missed a little bit of the show at the beginning. I apologize. So I'm sure you guys have questions about the big injuries in the NBA, with obviously the most biggest name out there is probably Kevin Durant.
Yes.
Injured his ankle in warmups, which is very unfortunate, but also concerning because he was by himself, just doing a regular layup, and boom, he rolls his ankle. Looked like a pretty good sprain just by watching the replay of it. And it sounds like he's going to be out for an extended period of time. They're talking about reassessing him in a couple of weeks. I can tell you that it looks like a low ankle sprain. The mechanism was pretty straightforward. These generally take about 4 to 6 weeks to heal. Now, with the NBA players, you'll probably see them move that timeline up significantly, but it really depends on the situation at hand. And given that the Suns are in a pretty good spot heading into the playoffs, I think they're going to rest him and make sure he's 100% come start of the playoffs. And I don't think they're going to risk getting him back too soon. So I don't expect him back before the end of the regular season unless he has some miracle breakthrough and just wants to get some time off the bench under his belt before playoffs start to shake off a little rust. But, you could expect to have quite a bit of swelling in that ankle. You can expect that it's going to take some time for that stiffness to work itself out for him to build the strength. So I don't anticipate him being back anytime soon. But good news is it sounds like he's making progress already. However, like I said, I think we'll probably see him out longer and rather than being back sooner. Update on LeBron. I still am sticking to my original time frame. I think I had said like a month at least. They were saying anywhere between 3 weeks or so, but I think that's probably going to be optimistic but not realistic. Again, given the situation that the Lakers are in, they're actually kind of fighting for a playoff spot here. So we might see him back sooner than Durant, but I think his injury might be a little bit more significant than they initially let on. Now, there's been some video surfacing of him out on the court doing some shots and taking some free throws, but not really doing much else. Don't read too much into that. The only good thing that I saw out of that was that he wasn't in a walking boot or anything like that, but he might have taken it off to come out there on the court. Who knows? So don't look too far into that. I think the injury might be a little bit more serious than they were letting on originally, which is why they've already kind of shut him down for several weeks, and that could also extend a little bit longer than originally anticipated. Any other injuries? I'm open for questions, but those were the two big ones I wanted to touch on tonight.
I have a question, Brian, especially about LeBron. I too think that the injury is worse than what was reported. How do you see them monitoring him come playoffs time? And that's really if they make it, to the playoffs.
Yeah, well, it really depends on what exactly the injury is. If it's a sprain or some tendon injury, that is what we've heard, then I expect that they'll probably limit his minutes, and he'll probably play with some type of supportive bracing or wrap on that foot/ankle. They're definitely going to limit his practice time. I don't think we're going to see him out in the court doing too much in practices and whatnot. He'll obviously be lacking a little bit of his conditioning, having sat out for quite some time, and that could be the only detriment I see to his return, should it be, to try and get them into playoffs. It's really just going to be down to minutes and how he feels. We know he's got a pretty good pain threshold. He hasn't missed much time at all throughout his entire career, which is pretty amazing. So I don't think he's going to easily sit out or take time off. They're going to probably have to pull him out, and possibly in situations where he doesn't want to come off the court. But as far as longevity goes, and if they have any hopes of making it far into the playoffs, they're going to need to monitor his time. The longer he tries to play on it, if he's not 100%, the more swollen and painful it's going to get. And that's just going to set him back for the following game, following quarter, whatnot. So he's going to have to play within the parameters that his body's telling him. And sometimes that can be difficult for a guy like LeBron, who's so high up there on the all-time list of greatest players. He's got a certain expectation that the fans want to see and that the organization wants to see, but also himself. He puts a lot of pressure on himself to perform. So it's going to be hard for the training staff, the medical staff, the coaching staff to kind of pull the reins back on him a little bit. So it's going to be a tug of war a little bit, but I think managing his minutes and him listening to his body and how it feels is going to be the big thing.
Do you think that Durant and LeBron are going to be limited come playoff time, both of them, or do you think that maybe Durant has an opportunity to, he might be all right on that push?
So I think Durant definitely has the advantage here, being on the Suns, obviously sitting in a better position heading into the
Mhm.
playoffs. There's not necessarily an overt need to get him back as quickly, so that just gives him more time to be able to rest and recover and rehab and get himself game ready. Let's just, God forbid, he doesn't make it back in time for the first round. I mean, the Suns potentially, and you can correct me, I don't know, are they the number 1 seed heading into the playoffs if it were to start today?
No, they are, I believe, the 5th seed.
Okay, so that kind of changes things. If they can move up a little bit into the seeding.
4th seed, excuse me, Brian. 4th seed.
Oh, so I mean, that's still, I mean, if they could be up a little higher, that obviously bodes better for them. But I think given the fact that they have a young stud on their team as well, that they're not necessarily relying on Durant to carry them as much as maybe LeBron on the Lakers.
Yeah.
So it gives them the opportunity to rest Durant and get him closer to 100% before they bring him back. Now he's dealing with a ligamentous injury, an ankle sprain. So, sometimes those tendon injuries can take a little bit longer, can get easily more aggravated, a little bit harder to brace. So with a sprain, which is a ligament injury, you put on a decent amount of protective bracing and stuff like that, you can pretty much play through it as long as he doesn't develop any chronic instability, which I don't expect. And he should be able to play at a pretty high level after a few weeks of resting and rehabbing that. So a little bit of a different injury coming back from the ligament, isn't as dynamic a structure as, say, a tendon. So you're not having to stress it as much if you give it enough time to heal. So I think the injury as well, aside from the position of the team, gives him a little bit of a better chance at recovering and being back quicker.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Brian, for this injury report with those two big stars. I think they make a huge difference. We can all agree. But we thank you for coming in with the injuries. And guys, don't forget, remember to visit our sponsor, the Underdog Fantasy, and sign up and use the promo code 3Pete, and they will double your deposit. Remember, up to $100. All right. We'll be right back.
Underdog Fantasy is here to save your post-fantasy football season blues. The easiest place to play and win with the Underdog Fantasy app. Get up to 20 times your money in a single night with our Pick'em contests. Grab some insurance when setting your picks and win even when one pick fails. Go online now and use the promo code 3Pete to double your deposit up to $100. Sit gingerbread, good girl.
All right, guys. Yeah. What did you guys think about that? Like, AJ, you are a Lakers fan, how are you feeling about your team like right now and, getting into the playoffs?
I feel pretty good about what they're doing. I like how their 80's finally taking the reins and he's kind of doing his thing, and the trades are all working. All those pieces are working. So I'm feeling pretty good. I'm almost feeling like we could end up being a 6th or 7th seed. That's my thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta feel good. I mean, I love the roster pulls when they initially got traded, but now to watch them on the court together with D'Angelo and Hachimura, Ryu Ichimura. I mean, he's looking like a nice. Yeah, he's a nice little piece that is going to help you guys a lot. So, I mean, you got to be excited.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so we're gonna go to AJ for the fantasy breakdown.
All right, guys, we're gonna get ready for the fantasy fast break. All right. Okay, so I want to start off this week with this is called an AJ's assist. And if you've ever played basketball with me, I don't usually pass too much. I'm a scorer. So take this assist information. But so one thing when you're dealing with fantasy, most people are in the playoffs right now. It's very important to pay attention to the games each players have a week. Some teams play 3 or 4 times a week. Some teams play 3. Some teams play 2. Now, if these guys are your studs, you have no choice but to kind of go with it. But I don't care if you have a number 1 seeded team. If someone has 30 games and you only have 20 games, you're going to lose just because of the game. So always pay attention to the games. So I kind of wanted to start off today with talking about some of the teams that have 4 games this week, and that's going to be the Bucks, the Celtics, the Grizzlies, the Heat, the Lakers, the Magic, the Nuggets, the Pistons, the Raptors, the Spurs, the Suns, the Timberwolves, and the Warriors. Next up, the teams that have 3 games. That's the 76ers, the Bulls, the Cavs, the Clippers, the Hawks, the Mavericks, the Nets, the Pacers, the Pelicans, the Thunder, the Trailblazer, and the Wizards. And it's 2 teams that have 2 games. Actually, it's 3. And that's going to be the Hornets, the Jazz, and the Knicks. That is very important, guys, because like I said, if someone has more games than you, even if you have a better team, you have a chance of losing. Okay, now we're going to move to the fantasy pickups. And each week I kind of want to give you who's hot like right now, and if they're still available in your league, you should go and grab them. I want to start with the Grizzlies, and I mentioned him last week, but I think he's still available in a lot of leagues, is Xavier Tillman. He's the power forward center for the Grizzlies, and Steven Adams and Clarkson is out, so he's going to be a great pickup for you. Next up, moving to OKC, is Jalen Williams, the rookie. He's doing like some triple-double type numbers, so he is definitely someone to look at. Next up is Isaiah Jackson for the Pacers. These guys are getting a lot of time now, and they're able to produce in this time frame. Moving along, for Golden State, we have Dante DiVincenzo. If you remember him for the Bucks, he was that scrappy player for them. Now he's doing that same thing for the Warriors. And with Wiggins being out on a personal leave, he's a guy that's going to help Golden State out a lot. And last but not least is Austin Reeves from my Lakers. He is, he's just a solid player where he's going to give you threes, he's going to give you a good shooting percentage, and he's going to give you some assists. Okay. And then if these guys are still available in your league, Emmanuel Quickly and Tyus Jones, get them. If they are available in your league, please invite me to play in your league, but those guys should be already gone. So, so we're going to be off to our next commercial.
Jazz, Sportsbook, Casino, and Racebook, the world's best resource for all-purpose online wagering. For over 20 years, Jazz has provided the best and quickest payouts in sports and entertainment wagers. Live sports betting, covering all the major sports leagues, and even into the new and exciting world of esports. Down the stretch you'll come, with Jazz's online horse wagering. Get paid when you play with Jazz's fun and exciting online casino games. Go online now and use the promo code TSS for our new members deals. Jazz Sportsbook, Casino, and Racebook, the world's best resource for online wagering.
Yeah, how come I wasn't getting any of those fantasy tips when I was in your league, AJ? I see how it goes, bro.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of these. Let's talk about some of these matchups going into next week. We got some. All right, so we got some bangers coming up this next week. We're going to kick it off with Friday night, 10:30, AJ's Lakers, the Dallas Mavericks. Now, Luka's injury is going to make this not as appealing game as it should be, but there's a lot on the line right now. The Mavs are 8th seed, the Lakers are 9th seed, and I don't know. I just think that the Lakers' excitement now without LeBron has just kind of been a different vibe. You see AD doing what he does, AJ, am I right? Is it like AD the energy, or is it some of these guys that came in the trade?
I think it's the energy, and we talked a little bit about this last week, just saying that, in my opinion, I think he's playing to be still in LA come this next season, because like he's been hurt a lot, but it's no denying when my dude is healthy, like he's a player,
Nat, I had a conversation with somebody earlier today, and I'm not 100% on this Irving thing in Dallas. Like, I don't know if Irving was the answer to help Dallas, step up in the West. Is it me, or is it a chemistry thing so far with Dallas?
I don't think that they have the right players, on this team for a while. I don't think that everybody compliments Luka, and that's what you really want. I think that Irving is going to fit anywhere you put him, to the best of his ability. Why? Because he can score anywhere, anytime. So he's going to get his. But it's like, I think that Hardaway is going to be inconsistent. I think that Christian Wood, I think he's a really good player. I think he's a good piece, but that it seems to be out of favor. He seems to be out of favor with Jason Kidd a lot of the time, so I don't understand what's going on. So it's like the mix of the coaching, not understanding what Jason Kidd wants to do. And then, defense, that defense is going to suffer. So you let go of all your guys, especially DFS, so I don't know. We're going to see with Dallas, but yeah, it's a fit problem, definitely alongside Luka.
Yeah, and I don't understand. Like, Jason Kidd is such a good coach. Like, I don't know what the thought process between the front office and Jason Kidd was when they were like, I need to get Kyrie Irving, But nonetheless, all right, pushing along. The next game that we'll talk about is Saturday at 8:00. We have the Golden State Warriors, the Heckle and Jekyll Warriors, going to the Grizzlies. And, we still are reeling from the Ja Morant issues. I heard that he recently is now checked into counseling. So, big up and wishing him well. I thought you guys took it a little easy on him last week, because I was that old man on the block when I was listening to the show last week, and I'm thinking how they letting this dude off the hook? You know what I'm saying? Like he knew better. He knew what it was. He knew what would happen, and I don't know. I just got mad about the circumstances, but I just think that we got to be a little bit patient with these young people these days. Things are a little bit crazy. It's not the same age that we were when we were growing up. But I'm going to ask you now, the Heckle and Jekyll, the 8 games in a row at home, the 8 games losing on the road. Like, what are we doing? Like, what's going on with the Warriors right now?
What's going on with the Warriors? Andrew Wiggins makes a big difference for this team. Steph Curry, he just came back, so he's still trying to get his footing and everything. They're just very up and down right now. I don't see them as the same Warriors as years previous. Last year I had them picked for the finals. I picked them very early. Once I realized that everyone was healthy, I was like, you guys are not going to beat them in a 7-game series. This year, they just look up and down, like you said, Jekyll and Hyde, and I'm not sure. The defense doesn't look the same. They let Wiseman go. He looks great in Detroit. I'm like, why couldn't he do that here? Why couldn't he do that in Golden State? So I don't know what to expect from the Warriors, but I will say this. I don't have Memphis beating them in a 7-game series.
Neither do I. And I thought the same thing with Wiseman in Detroit. It's like sometimes a change of scenery means everything, but I mean, it seems like he's doing a little extra in Detroit. Now, here's the thing though. Like, AJ, do you think so on the road, right? Do you think it's the Draymond Green thing? Do you think the team doesn't respect when Draymond goes in their face the way they did before the pool thing?
Yeah, I actually think his aggressiveness, his antics, Like, I think that doesn't work with everybody anymore. But this is a veteran team, so I think it's just they're not focused enough, you know. But I think when it gets time to the playoffs, and you know, look at the track record of this team. When you do it all the time, like I believe they probably got to where we can turn this on at any time. Now, can they? I don't know this year, but I still wouldn't want to see Golden State anywhere in the playoffs. And with this game, um, Memphis doesn't even have they don't even have Ja, so I'm gonna definitely go with Golden State on this one. And I don't know if you guys remember too the back and forth between who is it
Dylan Brooks
with
and
Dylan Brooks and
yeah
Draymond.
Dylan Brooks.
Draymond. Yeah.
So, so that could make hype them up a little bit to maybe bring it, but yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go Golden State with this one.
They're in Memphis, so
and
I think that they're in Memphis. So anything, I mean, it is on Saturday night. It's going to be a 8 p.m. primetime game, so it'll be fun to watch. I'd be interested if Golden State loses this game. This will be 9 in a row that they've lost. So that's crazy. Monday, I mean, we're going to skip Sunday altogether, a bunch of mediocre games. So I just went ahead and just jumped to Monday because we have Utah versus Sacramento. Now, Utah's now at 3, Sacramento's at 4. In the West, the Wild West, the wildest has been in a minute. I enjoy watching both teams play. I think that Utah has just shocked me, to say the least, this year. I would have never thought that losing Gobert and losing Mitchell, you're going to be the number 3 seed still in the West with all the strong teams that we have. They're 33 and 36 right now, but wait a minute. I think I wrote that wrong.
Yeah, you said they're third. I'm like, wait a minute.
Wait, Sacramento's third. My bad.
Yeah.
It's Sacramento that's third. But still, what is Utah now? Are they 8?
No, Utah is 12th.
So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it on to AJ. What do you think about this matchup going into Utah and Sacramento?
I'm gonna have to go with the Kings on this one. I feel like they got it going now. And this will be a great game for them to show maturity. I think when you're a team coming up, you kind of have to win the games that you're supposed to win. You know what I mean? That's a sign that you're becoming a great team. And Utah, I don't think Utah's going to go easy, but I'm going to have to go with the Kings on that one.
Yeah, I appreciate you trying to save me on that, AJ. I mean, that was good looking out. Let's go ahead and fly to Wednesday. I know Jason's laughing real hard right now, so we'll go ahead and talk about the Heat versus the Knicks. We've got the Knicks at, I hope, at 40 and 30, and then the Heat at 37 and 33. So you got the 6th versus the 7th in the East. We already talked about the Heat a little bit, but these Knicks showing out this year. Now, I mean, do you believe in the Knicks this year?
I do. There is no Nick hate over here from this Celtics fan. Like, I really enjoy watching the Knicks play. I was high on Brunson going to New York. I said that is a great pickup, and I think he's exceeded expectations, and Julius Randle. I've been a Julius Randle fan for a while. Even when people were like, get him out of here, I'm like, I'll take him. I don't think you understand what his skill set is. I'll take him, and he's showing out again. He's balling, he has a specific skill set, but he is a guy that he's like a value power forward. I think he makes about 22 to 23 million a year with the skill set he has that can get you a double-double, 20 and 10 or 25 and 12. That's a steal. So I like the Knicks, and they have Josh Hart over there. I'm big on Josh Hart, no matter where he is. They have RJ Barrett. He's still, leveling out and becoming whoever he's gonna be, and learning, and stuff like that. And they got some nice pieces and quickly. So this team is scary, I think, in the playoffs. With the right matchup, they're gonna make it to the second round, depending on who they play.
Agreed. And lastly, we'll go ahead and we'll try to see if we're going to talk a little bit about the Lakers and the Suns. Now, we got both of the star pop players still going to be reeling from injury. still a lot on the line. The ninth seed Lakers are still going to be trying to get a position to make the playoffs, while the Suns will be obviously trying to protect their fourth position. I want to know if AJ thinks that if LeBron is back before, what is it, the playoffs start, next month, in 3 weeks?
About 3 in April, yeah.
About 3 weeks. So is LeBron going to be able to not only get past what's going to be about, at least you're probably going to have to get through 2 rounds. Does LeBron still have it even at this age? Even at this age, or is this team going to have to be the one that carries them this time?
That is a great question. I think LeBron is still got it. I mean, till I see that he doesn't have it, then we can start saying stuff like that. But
AJ, the age, man, you know what the age feels like, man.
No, but you remember we was talking about it pre-show, like this dude still like dunking on people, like flying through the lane. But you see the age when the injuries take a look, because LeBron used to sprain an ankle and he'll be back in like 2 days or something, or probably be back, not even miss a day. So the age does play a factor, but he's too important to the Lakers right now. And I think if he gets back, he can carry the team, and that's going to take some of the pressure off AD. But I do feel if he can't, and this is what this is supposed to be with this shift with having AD, is that it's supposed to get to that point to where LeBron just got to come out there and then give us whatever he wants to give us, and then AD's carrying the load, and D'Lo, So I think either way it can work, but till he can't do it, and I'm sure we'll see that soon. But I wouldn't say he couldn't do it yet. But if, let's say, it gets to that point, I believe our team is deep enough to carry him.
Nat, does the Suns have enough time to really gel with Durant before the playoffs?
I think so. I do think that Kevin Durant's another person. You plug him in anywhere, and I think he can fit just anywhere. That's just how special he is. Long as his body holds up and he's healthy. Like I said, with Phoenix, I think we touched on this before. That bench is very thin, and I am not sure what on a night in night out basis what Chris Paul's going to give you. Sometimes he looks all right, and then next minute he's got 2 points, 3 points, and I'm just like, that's not going to cut it in today's league. He's not really stopping anybody, and is it going to be enough, which he'll be able to do less, I know, because there's Booker and there's KD, but then you got to look over in the middle at Ayton. And Ayton sometimes has those games where he looks great. He looks like who they drafted, and then he has those games where it's like, where are you? Are you the fifth man on the court? So it's going to be interesting, but I still believe in Phoenix. I'm just not sure if they can necessarily get to the finals, regardless.
So we all know that the game slows down in the playoffs. It's a lot more physical, and the shooting doesn't the shots don't fall like the way they do in the regular season. That being said, who is physically up to the challenge in the West, physically wise? Who doesn't rely so much on shooting as much as they do all the playoff basketball kind of things that you look for in the playoffs? I'm going to ask AJ this because we're from the 90s. What's up?
Yeah, that's a good one, man. I feel like
that physical kind of, you got a lot of that in the East right now. So it's a little bit easier in the East. But the West, who's got the physicality to contend with any of the teams that come out of the West?
Yeah, like Denver to me, I like they're number one, and I do think they could win a chip this year, but they still have a little bit to prove to me. But I do feel like if their shooting isn't happening, if they're not hitting, they can just go through Jokic, which they do all the time anyway. And Jokic is gonna either, do what he does in the post or find the open person. So if I had to pick right now, I'd probably say Denver has someone down low that they can depend on, because like Nat was saying with Phoenix, you just never know which Aiden you're gonna get. Like last night, Aiden balled out, but like you just don't know game to game, because I feel like Phoenix does have a physical presence with him down low, but you just don't know who's gonna show up, And with the Lakers, even the Lakers on that point, like with AD, it's just what the league is right now. AD, he'll be in the post a little bit, but he wants to find his way outside and be doing turnaround jump shots and 3-pointers. That's just what the league is right now. So yeah, so I'm gonna go Denver. With having Jokic as the anchor.
Do you have a different pick now?
Yes. It was funny you said, I guess I can't claim the 90s, right? So, but when you said the word physical and then you said Denver, I said, wow, they're physical? Like, I don't see it like that. I think that they are really good. I think that, they have a lot of nice role players this time around, which I think plays, a big part, and on top of obviously Jokic being, MVP caliber player, but it plays a part in them being able to win games in the regular season.
Right.
I think that the West is so confusing this year because of how things have moved around, players have moved around, and some people have retooled. Um, I'm going to sound crazy when I say this, and I love it. I am not ready to give up on those Clippers just yet. I'm not ready to give up on the Clippers just yet. They you got to knock them out in 7, and then I'll say, okay, I got you. But I just kind of refuse to just, give up on them right now. I think that they're trying. I think they've won maybe 3 or 4 games straight right now. I think Westbrook has been really good for them, and I think that their Achilles heel is Ty Lue. I think that the players know what they're doing. I think if Ty Lue can get it together with his rotations and understand matchups, I don't know, man. I refuse. I'm not going to go out on the Clippers like that. So I like what they have. They have a really deep team. I think their team might be the deepest. So in that West. So I'm going to roll with them.
And Clippers, and yeah, that's really a good point. And to be honest with you, I completely forgot about the Clippers as far as the physicality, being able to match up a little bit. I mean, you got some strong boys on every position on that team, and I think what AJ was meaning when it came to when we were talking about the which team did you pick, AJ?
He said Denver.
I picked Denver.
Yeah, Denver with they have the length, but it's kind of like. They're not like, they're not going to like drive a ball down your throat type of physicality, or, be the chippy fouling team that would, try to get in another opponent's head. Clippers have those players. Clippers have those guys. Well, you obviously know with Westbrook, Kawhi's not one to talk, but he doesn't have to. Mm-hmm. But the rest of that team, yeah, I mean, the Clippers, they definitely have that finesse game, but the big men know how to rotate the ball around, which is going to be definitely important in the playoffs. But those 3-pointers aren't going to be landing as much, and we all know that part.
No, they're not.
You do know there's only one team in LA, and that's the Lakers.
Oh God, are they in the playoffs yet? I looked at the standings and. Wait a minute. I looked at the standings and I think the Lakers they're 9th. They're in the play-in. You're getting there. You're getting there.
Ago, we weren't even there.
And the Clippers are in the playoffs. So until they drop
AJ,
out.
Don't worry, man. I just realized I'm laughing way too hard to be rocking all this Magic gear. So don't even. I'm sorry. I apologize for the team.
No, you guys got a bright future. I can't even clown you guys. The Orlando Magic has a bright future, so you can talk. We know what y'all are doing.
Don't ask Eddie House that.
No, Eddie House is a homer. He's a Celtic still deep down. He don't care. He don't care what's going on over there.
What did you think? What did you think about that whole thing where he was having the Twitter beef and the back and forth with the fans and the whatnot?
It's Eddie House. I mean, he's been chippy like that for a long time. You know,
You think he's still salty about the slap upside the head from Skip to Malou? You really think it's that anger, or is that where it's coming from? Or
I don't think. I think it's part of it. I think it's a good part of it. And also, I was like, if you remember, he's from back then, you know, at a time where they were still, you know, if you had beef with players, you just had beef with them. It just is what it is. I'm not your friend, you know, and they were still going at each other back at that time. So yeah, I think that it's those playoff series. I think that it's the fans, you know, and then that slap up the head. I mean, I think it's all of it. So he's always going to come for Orlando.
Yeah. I don't know. I would have taken it as being a little emasculated, being slapped like that in front of a crowd full of people, like the way he did, you know. And you know, he played for the Heat and he played for the Celtics, and they were playing the Orlando during the late 2000s and late 2000s. So I mean, there was just that kind of rivalry that Eddie House has with Orlando. But I mean, I don't ever understand when it comes to like getting back and forth, doing the back and forth with the fans. Like, how does that happen? You know?
I mean, when you got to think about it, right? Like somebody say something to you right now in your face, you're going to say something back. You know, it's like you just, I think.
He said something that was life, and he was like, so half these people wouldn't say that to my face. And
yeah, I mean, and we being real, it's true. Like a lot of people would not say a lot of things if, you know, somebody was just right there in your face. And sometimes people get carried away on Twitter. Let's be honest. People get carried away on social media all the time. And it's like, a lot of the time we all want to say something, you know, because it's just like, hey, you're not going to disrespect me. So it's like, when it comes to these players and these, you know, these vets and stuff, just, hey, you said something to me and you disrespected me and I have something to say back or whatever. It's like, hey, if you could dish it, you could take it, you know, and kind of just is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's all good rivalry stuff. And, you know, I think everything was done in just to have fun, but yeah, it's just like, you know, things get carried away sometimes, and you see a star going back and forth with the fans, and it wasn't with any particular player. That was what was funny. But then you saw the Orlando players coming in and jump into their defense, and that was what was kind of fun.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, guys, that's what thing we're gonna cut it right there. Thank you guys for coming and tuning into the 3P podcast. It was a great night, you know, night of hoops. Follow me at Reese Rebel 31. That's REES Rebel 31 on Twitter. Mike, where can they find you?
Well, you could try to find me at Original BXB on Facebook, Instagram, or wherever I happen to have an account still.
AJ.
And you can find me on Twitter at @IArthurJohnson.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Take it easy.